This is video 3 and it's called Does Praying for the Sick Do Any Good? Speaking personally, I feel those who believe in an omnipotent being controlling our daily lives are guilty of intellectual laziness. But let's see what happened when attempts were made to ask God to intercede on behalf of a sick patient in various controlled studies. In 2005, The Lancet published a paper called Music, Imagery, Touch and Prayer as Adjuncts to Interventional Cardiac Care, the Monitorings and Actualization of Noetic Trainings Mentored to Randomized Study, Volume 366, number 9481, pages 211 to 217, 6th of July 2005. It concerned a 3-year clinical trial led by Duke University which compared intercessory prayer and MIT, music, imagery and touch therapies for 748 cardiology patients. The study is significant and is regarded as the first time rigorous scientific protocols were applied on a large scale to assess the feasibility of intercessory prayer and other healing practices. The study produced no results which related to improved clinical outcome for these patients. A study by the Mayo Clinic titled Intercessory Prayer and Cardiovascular Disease, Progression in a Coronary Care Unit Population, a randomized controlled trial, Mayo Clinic Procedures 2001, Volume 76, pages 1192 to 1198, tried to determine the effect of intercessory prayer on cardiovascular disease progression after hospital discharge. A total of 799 coronary care units were randomized at hospital discharge to the intercessory prayer group or to the control group. The patients in the prayer group had been divided into high and low risk groups, as were those in the control group. To ensure that both the prayer group and the control group patients were roughly balanced in terms of medical issues. Those allocated to the prayer group were prayed for at least once a week for 6 months by 5 people. Those in the control group received no intercessory prayer. The study concluded intercessory prayer had no significant effect on medical outcomes after hospitalization in a coronary care unit. A 1997 study at the University of New Mexico involving 40 alcoholics in rehabilitation found that the men and women who knew they were being prayed for actually fared worse, and that intercessory prayer had no effect whatsoever on their drinking patterns. Another study by Benson, H. Dusak, J.A., Sherwood, B. J.B., Lamb, P., Beefier, C.F., Carpenter, W., and others, called Study of the Therapeutic Effects of Intercessory Prayer in Cardiac Bypass Patients, a multi-center randomized trial of uncertainty and certainty of receiving intercessory prayer. You can see this in the American Heart Journal 2006, volume 151, 934 to 42. It examined whether remote intercessory prayer influenced recovery after coronary artery bypass graft surgery, and whether the certainty of being prayed for was associated with better outcomes. The study architect was a triple-blind, randomized, controlled study comprised of 1,802 patients in 6 hospitals in the United States of America. 604 were prayed for after being informed that they may or may not be prayed for. 597 were not prayed for after being similarly informed that they may or they may not be prayed for. And 601 were prayed for after being informed they would definitely be prayed for. 3 mainstream religious sites were involved, and those patients assigned to receive prayers had them commenced 1 day before surgery and 2 weeks afterwards. In the 2 groups that did not know for certain whether or not they were being prayed for, complications occurred in 52% of patients who received intercessory prayer and in 51% of those who did not. In contrast, complications occurred in a significantly large proportion of patients, 59%, who knew for certain they were being prayed for. Major events and 30-day mortality rates, however, were similar across the three groups. The study showed that remote intercessory prayer did not improve outcomes after coronary artery bypass graft surgery. In fact, the knowledge of being prayed for was associated with a slightly but significantly higher rate of post-surgical complications. Various broader studies of previous studies of the literature in the field have been performed showing evidence only for no effect or a potentially negligible small effect. Most such reviews noted that the most methodologically rigorous studies had failed to produce significant findings. It seems serious researchers have been discouraged with the results of previous trials, as no new intercessory prayer studies have appeared in the mainstream medical literature in recent times. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to continue to dispel the myths surrounding medicine. It's the little image of a Neanderthal in the bottom right of your screen. Thank you.